Hello, my name is Craig Blanchett, and this is the Habits of Health weekly meeting. We are going over Chapter 14 in Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health, and so it's really my privilege to bring you this chapter review. We're going to go through it with a bunch of the rest of the gang that's with us today. One of the things that I wanted to stress is, why is the Take Shape for Life program different? What differentiates it from other programs, or why do we do what we do? And really what we figured out is that you can lose weight with many different programs. You could do the Hold Your Breath diet probably, and you could lose a little bit of weight with that one. You can do, the grapefruit diet, the protein diet, the Atkins diet. There's so many different diets out there. There's a new diet, depends on the week. But what happens, and what's the problem with a diet, you heard the term that they say diets don't work. And so I like to take it one step further. And the reason why diets don't work means they don't get you what you're actually wanting. Because the problem with the diet is it eventually comes to an end. That's the problem with diets, is it's something you're doing temporarily. And so what we do with the Habits of Health is we're actually trying to learn habits of healthy living. So if we practice those, it doesn't come to an end. So we get the weight off as a byproduct of learning healthy habits. And so maybe you're hearing that for the first time tonight, but I have never, ever I've coached almost 1,000 people in the last 6 years, and I've never spoken to one person. Spoken? Is that a word? Never spoke to one person. Spoken? I don't know. Anyway, that said, I would love to lose my weight and then over the next 2 years, gain it all back with interest. I've just never heard that. And so everybody out there that's trying to lose weight, that's just the first step. They really want to maintain a healthy weight. That's really, and then who knows, we maybe even get healthier and healthier beyond that. And so that's where our program differs from other programs, is because we're talking about the long-term change and not just simply losing weight. So in this chapter here, a couple things that stood out to me. And we covered that just a minute ago, but 60% of us get no regular physical activity. 25% get no activity at all. 50% of those who begin exercising quit within 6 months. And 1 year after purchase, 90% of all exercise equipment is unused and relegated to a quilt rack or a cat perch. And so that was pretty interesting there. And then the problems, there's some problems with exercise. And some people, well, I would actually love to open this up to all of you. What are some of your barriers to exercise in your minds or in your lives? What keeps you from regularly moving your body in a structured fashion? Who wants to go first? All right, Kathy. Yep. Time. That is a huge one. Mm-hmm. Tell me more. Dive in a little bit more on that. You don't have enough time. It's the wrong time. It's too out. What do you mean by that?
Everything.
Everything? Mm-hmm.
I seem to always put other things before exercising. There's always something to do. It's raining. I don't like to walk in the rain. Walking is my exercise. We live in a 2-story house now. There's 20 steps up. I could do steps every day, but for some odd reason, I never have the time.
Wow. Yep. It seems like, yeah, I've heard those same, it's weird. I heard the words you just said, but they were in my voice like just last week. Isn't that weird? In my own head. Yeah. What's some other barriers to exercise that you guys have personally had? Yeah, Jackie.
Lack of motivation.
Lack of motivation. Mm-hmm. Do you find that, here's a question maybe for you or somebody else. Have you had an experience, Jackie, where you've had a workout buddy that you like walked with, or you had somebody that you met at a gym, or you've done something with at least one other person? Have you had that experience?
Yes.
And then how did that differ from when you didn't have a workout buddy? Tell us about that.
We tend to encourage each other. Like if it was a morning that I didn't want to get up and go, my partner would say, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You'll feel better. And sure enough, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. You nailed it. I know that for me, if my workout buddy is my alarm clock, I can reach over and hit the snooze, right? And go back to sleep. But if my workout buddy knocks on my door, I have to get up. Very different equation. Yep. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else have any barriers for exercise?
Yeah.
Hi, Barb.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Okay.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Now tell me what kinds of things you think of when you're exercising.
Well, I'm a fair weather anything. So if it's fair weather, I love to go out and walk. If it's fair weather, I like to go and play 9 holes of golf. If it's fair weather, anything. But, unless I'm living in a climate that is fair weather all the time, then I just don't like it.
So let me just do a little bit of coaching, if I might, just for a minute. So based upon what you just said, how could your first statement is you don't like it, but then you made some qualifiers. So using those qualifiers, restate what you're saying about exercise.
I don't like it unless the situation is perfect.
Okay. Or the weather's nice. Yeah. Excellent. And because what I was thinking is if you don't like exercise and you think that exercise is basically going to the gym and walking on the tread climber or the Stairmaster or whatever it is, there's these other things out there.
And it's one thing, and I'll throw this out to everybody. I used to think that I'd be able to get the quality exercise that I needed just in the activities of living. So housework or, running errands or whatever. But, science tells you that that's just not enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's food used to be energy sparse and nutrient dense. So it had few calories and lots of nutrients. But the way that we manufacture food nowadays and grow food, it's lots of energy and low nutrients. And so you can get so much energy out of food. It's funny when you go to Europe and they, instead of saying calories on the side, it says energy. And that's really what it is. So it's energy comes from food. And there's so much energy in food that it takes too much time to burn those calories off. And then our lives have become more busy. So we don't have the time to go and do that kind of exercise. So it never works out with the calorie. I saw a meme on Facebook one time, and they had this person that had this big old hamburger, one of those monster hamburgers. He goes, it's not a question of calories, it's a question of time. And then they said, this burger equals 6,000 calories equals walking for 5 weeks. I was making it up, but it was like the amount of, do you have 6 hours to walk off that burger that's going to take you maybe 7-10 minutes to eat, right? It's all about time. Go ahead, Linda.
Yeah, so this is awesome. I'm so glad you're covering this, Craig. It's awesome because I was actually asking Jay the other day, what is a calorie? So what you're explaining is a calorie is initially the amount of energy it takes to use something. Is that right?
Well, calories are when you, this is actually really, when I say this, you're going to go, duh, but you may not have thought about it this way. So in food, there's 2 primary things that there's 2 necessities for human life. There's also taste, right? Which isn't necessarily a necessity. But when you eat food, it's something called micronutrients and macronutrients. And so the micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. They don't have any calories in them. The macronutrients, there's 3 macronutrients. You've probably heard them before: fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And so in the macronutrients, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories. So those are the easy ones. You're not going to believe this. Fat is 9 calories. So there's more energy in the same amount. There's more than twice as much energy in a gram of fat than there is in protein and carbohydrate. Now, don't be sidetracked thinking that if you eat fat, it's going to make you fat. That's another topic for another day. So when you're eating food, you're trying to get 2 things: vitamins and minerals, and then you're getting energy in the form of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Does that help, Linda? That make sense? Oh, you're muted. There you go.
Oh, sorry. I'll probably have to watch it over again. But I feel like we're learning college level nutrition stuff. Like, this is a really big deal that we can finally have a grasp on what in the world all these fads that we're being told work and maybe they don't. I mean, it's just, the clarity is awesome. So,
yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons why when people say that I want to lose weight and I don't want to use our MetaFast meal replacements. And when they say that, it's like, well, how are you might get the calories right, but how are you going to get the nutrients? Because if you're only eating 1,000 calories, how are you getting all 24 vitamins and minerals? Because it takes 2,400 calories of food to get all the vitamins and minerals that you need. So you're either going to be not enough calories or not enough nutrients. Or if you have enough nutrients, you have too many calories. So it's a really challenging thing to do. And then you can take a multivitamin to get your vitamins and minerals, but then you usually take a multivitamin once a day. Well, with our plan, you're getting 20% of your daily requirement every 3 hours. So it's going in little by little by little by little by little. You think that's going to be better for your body? Well, of course it is. So anyway, that's where you get the 2 things from food are calories and nutrients. And then energy comes from the proteins, carbs, and fats. And then your body uses that energy to work. It does a bunch of things. We won't go into all those things. But anyway, so that's a little bit about that. Let me cover a couple more pieces in here. One of the things that says, can lifestyle changes cure obesity? And there's a study from the England Medical Center that says, yes, that lifestyle changes can cure obesity. Actually, it's the only thing that cures obesity is lifestyle change. And another one here is there's 2 types of exercise. You can do lifestyle exercises where you just change up your routine. We talked about that last week. Dance. Actually, Les and I covered the standing and the stairs and the samba and the switch and all those different ways where you can just get a little more movement, make life a little harder for you, and burn a few extra calories. And over time, it adds up. And then you can do a structured exercise program, which kids call hide and go seek. Right? Yeah, that's exercise, believe it or not. Right? Freeze tag, there's another famous one. But you can actually get exercise in by doing something fun. And I would say, if you're doing something for exercise that you hate, keep looking. There's so many things you can do. Go take a dance class. Go do an intro dance class and see if you love it. And if you don't do it. Right? Play soccer. Square dancing. There's so many things you can do. Zumba class. That's a pretty popular one. A spin class. Do something where you're with some other people. And then you have a time that you're expected to show up. That really, really helps. Walking class. They have these things, silver sneakers, where they go walking. The Fitbits, some of those pedometers where you're counting your steps. That's a really good accountability partner. So, all right. So we're going to do the little bit of a quiz. And this was just an intro that there's two styles of exercise. non-exercise activities or lifestyle sort of extra movement. And then there's structured exercise where you actually have a planned like walking program or something like that. Some tools for success that Dr. A recommends is a heart rate monitor. It's always good to tell what's going on with your heart, because when you exercise, you're exercising your heart because it has to beat faster, and that's good for it. A stopwatch is a good thing to have to measure routines or measure certain types, maybe an interval. There's something called high intensity endurance training, and where you would go like a minute really fast and then a minute slow, and you're able to actually get a lot more work done in a shorter period of time by doing intervals, where you have hard and then easy. I personally like intervals. And then a pedometer or a smart pedometer like a Fitbit are some things to use as well. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you guys pull out your phones and your smartphone, and you're going to go to, I'll put it in the chat window, but it is KAHOOT.IT, Kahoot it. And launch. And once you go to Kahoot.it, then you're going to type in this number, and I will put it in the window here, but I'll tell it to you as well. It's 326159. 326159. So Kahoot.it. You can do this from Android or iPhone or an iPad. Look at you guys. You're all timing in. Kahoot.it, 326159. We got a few more on here. I know you can do this. Hey, you can do this on your computer too, but you just have to make your Zoom window small because the questions are going to be on Zoom in the screen share. We got 6 people in there. I don't know who me is. One of you said M-E. Barbara. So funny. All right, we got 7. Who else is going to play? Come on. Kahoot.it. And it's 326159. Oh, all right, 7. We got 8. Anybody else want to play? All right, so now I'm going to share my screen. And this is going to show you, ooh, we got 9. All right. Now we're down to 8. We lost somebody. Bummer. I hope you come back. All right, so we're going to start this up. And so there's going to be a question that comes on the screen. And then the question will go up to the top of the screen. And then it's going to give you 4 options down below. And those 4 options, you're going to click the right one on your phone as your remote control. All right? So here we go. Are you ready? I'll read the question for you as well. Tools for success. So which of these are tools for success? Is it heart rate monitor, stopwatch, pedometer, or all of the above? Once everybody votes. All right, let's see. Everybody got that right. Nicely done. Let's see who got it first. Jeremy is in the lead. Les and Betsy, very close. Debbie, and then JM, and then Hazel. All right, next question. Lifestyle changes cure obesity. True or false? Is that everybody? I think we have one more person to vote. Okay. And yes, it was true. Lifestyle changes does cure obesity. And Jeremy, pulling ahead a little bit. The trigger finger tonight. All right. Some barriers to exercise are not enough time, inconvenient, no results, or all of the above. All right, that was 9 answers. I think we just have 9 people. Oh, we have 10. You guys all got it right. Man, you guys are stellar. Good job. Jeremy's. Ooh, Debbie jumped up into second place there. All right, next question. What's the best exercise? Yeah, I heard this said, the best exercise is the one that you do. Doesn't really matter what it is, as long as you're doing something, that is the best exercise. I guess you could quantify best, but really, think about it. It's the one that you do. Jeremy's still in the lead. Wow. Kim's coming in second. A key player in advanced energy balance. A key player in advanced energy balance. Is it building muscle, juggling, sleeping, or thinking hard? It is building muscle. So building muscle is a key player in advanced energy balance. Dr. A talks about that on advanced energy balance. Let's see, where was that at? He talks about when we build muscle, muscle burns more calories, and then you have more muscle, then you burn more calories. And so a key player is to making sure that you're not only just doing aerobic exercise, but you're doing some type of resistance exercise to keep your muscles strong, and that will help in energy balance, meaning you're not eating more than you're burning. So you want to balance that. All right, and I think that may have been the last question, and we have a winner tonight, folks, and her name is Kim. So, Kim, we'd like to interview you and ask you how you prepared for this challenge. And where are you at, Kim? There you are. Did you prepare long nights for this challenge? Yes, you did. All right. Let's see here. Looks like Vivian, you want to share the screen? I'm sure you did that accidentally. Let's see here. All right, guys. So that's going to conclude. Any questions about any of those questions or anything we've talked about, or you just have some comments about the this chapter, or maybe some experiences? Actually, what I'd like to hear, you can just do a general comment, or you can tell us what is your favorite form of exercise. Go ahead and unmute yourself and just offer that up.
Walking.
Walking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, by the way, we have 2 people that are on tonight, Les and Betsy Stevens, and they are like the grand champions of walking, in my opinion. They do these Fitbit challenge, and every year Fitbit comes out with a new step goal. And for a while it was 20,000, then it was 30, 40, 50. Well, 50,000 steps. Sure, that's a lot. Then they had a 75,000, then a 90,000. Well, this last year they had 100,000 steps. And Betsy and Les, now that they have these bodies that are like little race cars, they can do these kinds of things. So they got up super early and they walked. Actually, Betsy and Les, I'd love to hear, how many hours did it take you and to do 100,000 steps?
Well, it was 18 hours, although that was 18 hours out. We were actually walking 14 hours, and we did 46.7 miles.
46.7 miles to do 100,000 steps. And how many total hours you said?
18 total we were out, 14 we were walking.
14 walking, 18 elapsed. Wow. Yeah. And I'm sure, I don't know if they're going to have 110,000 this year, but
But if they do, we'll go to like 120 just in case they bring 120 out next
Yeah.
year.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Craig,
Yeah.
I gotta brag on this lady. So anybody here who thinks that they can't, that age is like for some reason an acceptance letter that you never have to be fit. Betsy and I walked 11 miles around DC. I didn't have good walking shoes on, but I had to keep up with her. And she is old enough to be my mother. And I was huffing and puffing, and she was just ready to go. And it's so cool to see where she was and where she is now because of her dedication. So I wanted to brag on her for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome. That was fun watching you guys take off to walk around DC. It's cool because health coaching, I don't know if you guys would ever met if it wasn't for health coaching and for this program bringing you together. And it was cool to see you guys go not only have a fun day, but incorporate exercise into it. Yeah. Who else has a favorite type of, mine is hand cycling. I race something called a hand cycle, which is like a 3-wheeled bicycle that I kind of lay down pretty low in. And then it has cranks, gears and stuff. And so I love to hand cycle. It's one of my favorite things. Who else loves to hand cycle? No, I'm just kidding. Who else has, what's their favorite exercise? Any Zumba people out there? Zumba, Ginny, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
I like to do yard work and heavy gardening and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, yard work. Yard work's a pretty popular one, especially when it's nice outside. It's nice to see that you've gotten something done.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when you think about it, doing practical exercise like that, where you actually, it's a chore, but you're actually getting exercise, that makes really good sense to me.
I had a question.
It's a good one.
On that though, she said heavy gardening.
Heavy gardening.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what's heavy gardening.
Oh, like moving rocks and placing stones, or more landscapey kind of things. We live on a hill, so everything's up or down.
Nice. That's great. Yeah. So yard work. A lot of my clients love to work in the yard, and they love to create beauty, and it is exercise.
And what that is, that's actually called natural weightlifting. Natural
weightlifting. There you go. Yep. Who else? Any other favorites? Well, one thing to think about while you guys are considering this, we got just a couple minutes left. One thing that David Miller said to me, he's a health coach, been coaching for a while, and he's a pretty fit guy. He said that one of the problems with exercise-based weight loss, or when people go in, they're quite a bit overweight, and they go to a gym and they try to do some type of exercise class or something like that, is they end up over time loathing exercise because their bodies are kind of clumsy and it hurts a lot. And so they end up never getting a chance to find enjoyment with exercise. And so what we recommend with this program, again, when we're thinking about lifestyle, not just a temporary change, is to lose, at least your first 50 pounds or a certain amount of weight without doing any strenuous exercise. And that way, when you start to exercise, it's not so aggressive on your body. And so you don't have that severe pain, and you might actually end up liking it. And exercise is a good thing to like because it's really good for our bodies. And so I always think of another thing he said is that if you've never, if you're trying to learn what you might like, but you can't really do a lot of it yet, find somebody or find a local 5K and go down and volunteer and watch the people's faces and watch the enjoyment people get out of walking together. And you might catch a bug, and you might then set a goal to walk a 5K, or maybe you'll even do something crazy like a marathon or something like that. Kim, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when Barbara talked about how she didn't like exercise, I could absolutely relate to that. I exercised for years and years because I felt like I had to. And discovering that, the exercises that I'm doing now are not easy, but I really enjoy how I feel when I'm done. And so, so I get, for whatever that's worth, I think that sometimes I'm enjoying the discipline of it, I guess, the way I feel afterward, and really building that muscle, because I like to feel strong. And so I don't know, that was just my 2 cents on that.
No, it's good. Well, you've made such a transformation too, and as your mind transformed, your body transformed, and as your body transformed, your mind transformed, and it's just been this continual cycle where it's like your mind says, "I got something more," and then your body brings a little more and says, "I got something more," and it's like this thing where you build on each other, and
that reminded me, Craig. That was the other thing I was going to say. It really came in a like you said, your mind. It came in my mind's transformation, because I could get hung up. There are certain exercises that in my mind I haven't changed my language yet. I still, like when I was in sports in school, the one part I didn't like about the sports was running. So in my mind, I still don't like running, and I haven't really forced myself to do a whole lot of that. But even as I do these like high intensity workouts now that I didn't used to want to do, I'm just telling myself, man, I love how I feel when I'm done. And that being the focus, it gets me through the hard part. And so it's really helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge aha, because it's almost the reverse of people in the office who bring something that is not healthy for you to eat, and thinking about how you're going to feel after you've eaten it, which is crummy. So on the converse side, not wanting to exercise or engage in that kind of behavior, thinking about how good you're going to feel on the other side of it, is kind of a mental shift as well. So thanks, Kim. Now you've put me on the spot. Now I have to think about it and think about how good I'm going to feel. Yeah.
You will. You'd be surprised. So great job, you guys. And this is exactly why we do this in community, is what you just saw right there. And so for next week, we're going to be covering chapter 14. And chapter 14 in the Habits of Health. No, it's chapter 13. Yep. And it's called Active Living Inside and Out. We actually started at the back of the book, and we're moving our way to the front. So it's almost like we read the end of the story, and now we're reading the intro. And so this one talks about chapters 13 through 16 focus on transitioning your body into a state of increased energy expenditure. In other words, we're going to start to get you moving and burning more calories both inside and outside. And so we'll talk about that next week. So if you want, page 170, if you want to read ahead in that and then join us next week on Tuesday night, we'll go through that chapter 13, and then we're going to have the recipe French toast recipe in our 6 o'clock huddle. So thanks for joining us. At this point, what we're going to do is